everyone, this is Karen.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Shane.
Today we're looking at part 2 of our story called The Adventure of the Sussex Vampire. And the vocabulary words are confine.
Confine.
The soldier refused to follow orders, so he was confined to his room.
Incident.
Incident.
Despite a few incidents of violence, the concert went smoothly.
Flushed.
Flushed.
Vicky said her flushed cheeks were from being out in the cold air.
Meanwhile, Dawn and Sam played cards in the living room. Meanwhile, their mom cooked dinner.
Mystery.
Mystery.
The mystery of who took the cookies has not been solved yet. It was you.
It was me.
Shane took the cookie from the cookie jar.
Not me. Who, me?
Yes, you.
Not me.
So we're talking about The Adventure of the Sussex Vampire.
Okay.
The Sherlock Holmes story, right?
Right. So we have a mother who
is a vampire.
Seems to be a vampire because she's definitely sucking blood from her baby's neck, right?
Because who else does that?
Okay, so of course they're going to Sussex to go and visit this family and find out what's going on, right? Watson and Holmes need to go check it out.
So then they went to this place and then they see this lady.
Yes.
Right?
And she's ill. She's confined to her room. She's very flushed. She's not very well. And she refuses to see her husband. And she only wants to be near the baby.
Maybe because she doesn't get enough blood, so she feels sick.
But Sherlock Holmes starts to investigate some stuff. And he sees that Jack,
the older son,
he seems a little bit suspicious, right? And he also notices there's some Peruvian weapons there.
Because he noticed how Jack looks at the little brother.
The little brother, he looks
little baby.
Quite suspicious. So, we'll tell you this much. Sherlock Holmes figures out she's not a vampire.
But
why is she sucking blood out of her baby's neck?
Could it be something to do with Jack?
She could be very hungry.
I don't know.
I don't know, but you can find out by reading more.
All right. Enjoy today's story.
The Adventure of the Sussex Vampire.
Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson visited the Ferguson farmhouse in Sussex. The lady of the house had been confined to her room since the last incident. Dr. Watson had a look at her since she had fallen ill. She had a high fever and a flushed face. She still refused to see her husband and only wanted her baby.
Today's lesson is called The Adventure of the Sussex Vampire, Part 2. Hello everyone, my name is Jeff. I am not a vampire.
No, you are not. My name is Mike. I don't think I'm a vampire. I've never really done any vampire things, but if I was sucking the blood from someone, you might think I was, and that's Mr. Ferguson's problem. He's a nice man. He's got a sort of modern family, a second wife, a 15-year-old son from his first marriage, a new baby. The wife is from Peru. Everything was fine until he and the nurse he found out, saw his new Peruvian wife sucking the blood from his baby's neck, from their baby's neck.
Well, here's the thing. She had done this more than once, and she was also known to beat up on, on the other kid in the family.
And she was paying the nurse not to tell Mr. Ferguson about her blood-sucking habits.
Things really weren't so great in that particular household.
Mr. Ferguson thinks his wife is a vampire.
So things aren't going well there. So
it's not good.
He went ahead and he contacted Sherlock Holmes. Anyways, he wrote Sherlock Holmes 2 letters, and he and Dr. Watson started investigating. Anyway, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson visited the Ferguson farmhouse in Sussex. I imagine they wanted to take a look around. And the lady of the house had been confined to her room since the last incident.
Lock up the vampire.
There you go. I.e., you go to this room, we're going to close the door, and you stay there. It's a lot like being in jail. Yes, if you're a if you're a captive, if you happen to be in prison because you're a bad guy, they're going to confine you to a cell in a prison or a jail. Here, this lady, the lady of the house there, she has been confined to her room. She's a captive in a room. She can't go anywhere. She is stuck in her room there. For example, the soldier refused to follow orders, so he was confined to his room. You can't go anywhere. Stay put. Stay here. You're confined. If you go anywhere, you're in big trouble. Anyways, she's in a room there. She's confined there since the last incident.
Yeah, an incident is basically an event, something that happens, and probably something kind of important or strange or, special in some kind of way. Not a normal thing, like when you go to the store and say hello to someone you know. That's not really an incident. I mean, it's something that happened, but it's not something you're going to tell people about. It's not going to cause a problem in your life. When we talk about incidents, this could be something that brings you some worry. If you're the victim of a crime or almost have a terrible accident or some kind of health emergency where you have to go to the hospital because I have chest pains or something. That's a physical incident, a medical incident or something like that. So we use this word for very special things that happen, unusual, strange, maybe worrying or dangerous things or something like that. That would be an incident. When you watch the news and they talk about car accidents or a fire that happened in the city that day, that's the kind of incident we might be thinking about and might make the news. For example, despite a few incidents of violence, the concert went smoothly. Anyway, so they locked the mother up after the last terrible thing that happened, finding her sucking the blood. Now, Dr. Watson had a look at her. Remember, he is a doctor, so he had a look at her since she had fallen ill. And what did he find? She had a high fever and a flushed face. Well, so something is kind of not right with her. Her temperature is high, she has a high fever, and also her face is flushed.
Red.
It's red.
It's red, really red. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, no.
But it's red.
In a very
especially like in the cheeks. Really red.
Flushed,
Yeah, but really just really red.
She's been out
especially
in the
cheeks,
sun
but
too long,
just
or
a red. Her red's really
looks really angry.
Her face is really red, I should say. Anyways, for example, Vicky said her flushed cheeks were from being out in the cold air.
Sure.
There you go. Anyways, she still refused to see her husband and only wanted her baby.
My baby, bring my baby, please. With my red face and my high fever.
I have no idea what's going on.
Strange things.
This is all very strange. So let's go ahead and take a break. Again, we're going to process things.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。我们在第一天的故事读到，福尔摩斯的委托人 Robert Ferguson 在信中有提到，他的秘鲁妻子会打他15岁的儿子。有一天呢，还被当场抓到正在吸宝宝脖子上的血。好，那么接着福尔摩斯就跟华生医生来到他们家了。自从上次那个事件之后，女主人她就一直被监禁在她房间里面，而由于她生病了。华生医生就去看她，就是这位女主人，她就发高烧，满脸通红，可是她拒绝见她的丈夫，她只要她的宝宝。好，这边有3个单字 ，confine 这个动词表示监禁、禁闭、限制行动。我们常常会用 somebody be confined to 加上名词来表达被禁闭在某个地方，被限制留在某个地方。Jeff 老师在解释单字时，他用到 captive 这个字 ，captive 可以当名词来表达俘虏，也可以当形容词来表达被囚禁的、被监禁的。好，下一个单字 incident 它表示事件、事故。那这个事件呢，通常是指不愉快或是特别的事件。还有 flushed 可以用来形容脸是发红的。好，这回到课文中。
The Adventure of the Sussex Vampire.
Meanwhile, Holmes met the two children and examined some Peruvian weapons displayed in the house. He noticed the way Jack looked at his young brother and quickly came to a conclusion.
Anyways, Dr. Watson is there. He's in the room there with the Peruvian lady taking care of her. And meanwhile, Holmes met the two children and examined some Peruvian weapons displayed in the house. Do you have weapons displayed in your house?
I have weapons from no country displayed in my house.
I have no weapons displayed in my house either.
No, that's a little unusual, but people do collect strange things. But these things are happening in our story at the same time. Remember, Holmes and Watson, they're kind of a team, so as one's doing one thing, the other can be doing something else somewhere else. And that's why we use this adverb, meanwhile. It's a great adverb to use when telling a story, because you're kind of saying, you know, two things are happening with two of the characters, but at the same time, and maybe in different places. So at the same time as Watson's up there looking at the wife, Holmes is downstairs in the house looking around, but meanwhile tells us they're happening at the same time. For example, Don and Sam played cards in the living room. Meanwhile, their mom cooked dinner. So at the same time as they're playing cards, Mom's in the kitchen making dinner. So Holmes is looking around. He meets the 15-year-old son, Jack, looks at the little baby, and then looks around the house and notices these old weapons from Peru, maybe like Incan weapons from ancient times or something. And Holmes noticed something else. It says he noticed the way Jack looked at his young brother and quickly came to a conclusion
that Jack is a vampire.
There's a strange relationship between the older boy, 15-year-old Jack, and the baby. Remember, they have the same father, but different mothers. So this is what we would say is a blended family. It's
Jack
sort of
is a vampire.
You think
that's why the Peruvian lady's been beating on him. It's like, all right, everyone, let's go ahead and take a break. We'll be back after this.
在华生医生去看女主人的同时呢，福尔摩斯有见到那两个孩子，并且还仔细检查屋内摆设的一些秘鲁兵器。他就注意到 Jack 看弟弟的方式，然后很快就有了结论。好，我们先来看单字 meanwhile。meanwhile 这个副词表示在此期间，与此同时。那么刚刚 Mike 老师聊到说，那两个孩子呢同父异母，说他们家是属于 blended family， 就是说混合家庭。blended 是拼作 blended，blended family 通常就是指说有后母或是有继父的家庭。好，另外老师听到秘鲁兵器，他猜测说，搞不好是古代印加帝国时期留下来的兵器。老师用到 Incan。Incan 可以用来形容是印加文化的，或是印加族语的。好，接着回到课文中。
The Adventure of the Sussex Vampire.
The mother was, in fact, not a vampire. Holmes deduced that Jack was trying to kill the baby in order to win back his father's love and attention. Jack made use of the Peruvian weapons in the house and stabbed his little brother with poison arrows. The mother caught on to this and sucked the poison out from the baby's neck. Although this made her ill, she saved her baby's life. She hit Jack but didn't want to tell her husband for fear of breaking his heart. With the mystery solved, Holmes suggested sending Jack away for a while so that the husband and wife could recover from this terrible ordeal.
Okay, we just said that Jack was a vampire and the Peruvian woman was a vampire.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
There are no vampires. Right. The next sentence tells us very clearly.
Holmes came to a conclusion. He discovered something. He made a final decision about what's going on.
That's true.
Right?
But we learned very clearly and very directly that the mother was, in fact, not a vampire.
No. Because
vampires
Vampires aren't real. Holmes is like, this is not a vampire story at all. So what is it? Well, Holmes, with his amazing brain, his amazing ability to look at things and put things together and come up with answers, he deduced, and you deduce by looking at what's in front of you and using logic to come up with reasonable decisions. Holmes deduced that Jack, the son, was trying to kill the baby in order to win back his father's love and attention. Jack felt that the baby and the new wife were going to take his father's love and attention away from him. He was a lonely, troubled boy, so he was acting out in a terrible way, but he was trying to win back his father's love, who he thought he was losing the love.
Lonely and troubled, but skilled in the use of Peruvian weapons. It said here Jack made use of the Peruvian weapons in the house and stabbed his little brother with poison arrows. Gosh, now the mother caught on to this and sucked the poison out from the baby's neck, hence her sucking the blood
and the blood on the neck.
And although this made her ill,
the poison,
the fever, and the flushing of the face, she saved her baby's life.
But it looked like when they walked in, she was biting the baby and she was a vampire. And what about hitting Jack? Remember, she was hitting Jack too. She hit Jack, but didn't want to tell her husband for fear of breaking his heart. She caught Jack hurting the baby, hit him, but realized that she's not Jack's mother. She didn't want to tell her husband that his son was this, mixed up, troubled kid. But it made her look like the bad guy, look like a vampire. So, with the mystery solved, Holmes suggested sending Jack away for a while so that the husband and wife could recover from this terrible ordeal. Maybe Mr. Ferguson has a brother, you can send Jack to the grandparents or an uncle and aunt, give the husband and wife and their baby time to, make things better. And hopefully Jack can come back and they can be a happy family. But he certainly has solved the mystery. Sherlock Holmes has.
Yeah, by the way, a mystery is usually a situation that is hard to understand or hard to explain. Sherlock Holmes eats mysteries, though, for breakfast. You give him a mystery, he figures these things out.
Yep.
Okay, he takes clues, puts them together, and can explain things without a problem. Okay, otherwise, people like us, sometimes we struggle with mysteries. We can't explain them. We just don't know what to do with them. Mysteries are hard to understand. That's why we call them mysteries. That's why we use this word. For example, the mystery of who took the cookies has not been solved yet. All right, folks, with that, our lesson is almost finished. Now we have the what do you think question to ask and answer. Mike, do you ever feel like your sibling or another family member gets more attention than you? What is a healthy way to deal with this?
I don't really feel that, no. But I think a healthy way to deal with it would be to talk about it. If you feel that you're not getting something, especially something like love in your family, talk to your parents or talk to your siblings, your brothers, your sisters about it and let them know your feelings. I think that's a good thing. Communication is good.
I think that makes sense too. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to say bye-bye. See you next time.
福尔摩斯有了结论，他推论呢，就是 Jack 想要杀死宝宝来赢回父亲的爱跟注意。Jack 就利用家里的秘鲁兵器，并且用毒箭来刺伤弟弟。然后妈妈得知这件事之后呢，她就把这个毒液从宝宝脖子上吸出来。虽然这让她身体不适，让她生病了，可是却救了宝宝的命。因为这件事情，她就打了 Jack。但是她不想告诉丈夫，怕丈夫会伤心。好，刚刚老师们说到 Jack 是一个问题青少年，老师用到 troubled， 就是在 trouble 后面加上 d， 可以变成形容词来形容问题多的，可能是指说情绪上或是行为上是问题多的，也可以描述它是混乱的、不安的、忧虑的。好，老师们还有用到 mixed up。MIXED 连字号 UP。Mixed up 可以用来形容是迷茫的，通常是有情绪问题而处于那种迷惑的状态。好，故事最后写到说，谜团解开了，福尔摩斯就建议把 Jack 先送走一段时间，好让这对夫妻可以从这个可怕的煎熬当中恢复。好，那么单字 mystery 就是指谜或是神秘的事物，也可以表达神秘的意思。这边还有3个重点。第一个是 with 加受词加受词补语，是用来表达原因或是附带状态。那这个受词补语可以用介系词片语、形容词，或是现在分词，或是过去分词。好，那么受词补语如果是用现在分词 VING， 就表示主动或进行中的动作。那如果用过去分词 PP， 只是表达被动或是已完成的动作。举例来说 ，with her bag packed。She was ready to leave. 她的包包打包好了，她准备要离开了。 那由于背包是被打包的嘛，这个受词和受词补语关系是被动，已经打包好了，所以我们是用过去分词 packed 来当补语。第二个重点 suggest 它表示建议、提议，后面可以接名词或动名词，那么也可以接 that 子句，可是 that 子句是 that 主词加上 should 再加原形动词，其中的 should 也可以省略，只保留后方原形动词。举例来说，My friend suggested that we should book a table in advance. 也可以说 My friend suggested that we book a table in advance. 我朋友建议我们先定位。第三个重点 so that 后面接表示目的的子句，可以用来表达以便怎么样，好让怎么样。例如 The singer disguised himself in a wig and sunglasses so that he wouldn't be recognized. 那位歌手他戴假发和墨镜来伪装自己，以便不会被认出来。好，以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Hello there! Are you interested in the different types of dance around the world? Let me tell you a few things about capoeira, which is famous in Brazil. Some see capoeira as a dance, and others see it as fighting moves. Actually, it's a bit of both. Capoeira was created by slaves. They used it to hide the fact that they were practicing fighting. The basic movement in capoeira is called the ginga. It is a back and forth rocking movement. When we move, it's harder for others to attack us. It's also easier for us to attack others when we move back and forth. The best way to learn capoeira is to feel the movements in your body. Also, observe others practicing capoeira. Don't look at yourself in the mirror too often when you're practicing. Capoeira can take years to learn, but it will improve your balance and make you stronger. You should give it a try. Here is more information. Percussion. Drums and tambourines are percussion instruments. Beauty. People love Winnie for her beauty and intelligence. Flexible. Dancers need to be very flexible. Rooster. The rooster wakes the farmer up every morning. Slave. There were black slaves in the USA many years ago. Acrobatics. These acrobatics are hard to learn. Illegal. It is illegal to park your car here. Entertainment. Watching movies is my favorite form of entertainment. Fight. The two boys are fighting. Competition. Mark won the chess competition. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed learning about the capoeira. See you next time. See you next time.